There is a mourning dove in your yard right now. Who has been watching you for longer than you know? She didn't just land. She chose you. And most people never find out what that means. Not because they don't care, because nobody told them. If you want to understand what's really happening when a mourning dove appears in your yard, stay with me. And if you're new here, subscribe, because this is exactly the kind of thing we talk about on this channel. You didn't see her land. Almost nobody does. One minute your yard was full of sparrows, that small noisy chaos at the feeder, wings brushing feeders, birds bumping into each other for the same inch of perch. And then they all left at once, the way sparrows do, like something passed through the air, and every one of them felt it at the same time. And your yard went quiet. Not silent. A yard is never truly silent, but quiet enough that you could hear the air conditioner cycling on, a car 3 blocks away, the dry rustle of something moving through the grass, and then, without any sound you would have noticed, she was just there, on the ground, still, head up. That moment, that specific moment of quiet before she appeared, was not an accident. A mourning dove does not visit a yard the way a sparrow does. She doesn't arrive. She approves, and the approval process started long before she ever touched the ground in front of you. While you were going about your mourning, she was on a wire somewhere above your property, and she was watching. She was checking the ground for seed. She was measuring the open space between the feeder and the nearest cover. She was clocking where she could flush to if something went wrong. She was listening for a cat moving through dry leaves, for a dog at the back door, for the click of a sliding screen. And she was learning the rhythm of your yard, the pattern of it, the way humans move behind windows, the times the back door opens, the routine of every other bird that passes through. Only after all of that did she drop. The first thing you notice when you watch her is the stillness. She lands, and for a few seconds, she does almost nothing. And if you don't know what you're looking at, it looks like she's just standing there. She isn't. Her head is up. Her eyes are scanning. There's a small fractional tilt, almost too subtle to catch, that lets her see motion in 2 different planes at once. A gentle repeated bob, not nerves, not confusion. She is taking a second reading, confirming what she already decided from the wire. Then she starts to walk, not hop, walk. Almost every bird in your yard hops. Sparrows hop, finches hop, even cardinals hop. A mourning dove walks, slow, deliberate, like she already knows the route. Her feet were not built for clinging to thin feeders. They were built for flat ground. The ground under the feeder, where the seed spills and sits, that is exactly where she was designed to be. Watch her walk for 30 seconds, and something shifts in how you see it. She moves like she has already decided the yard is safe. The surveillance happened before she landed. Now she is simply working. That confidence is earned, not assumed. She is not eating the way you might think. She is loading. Inside her throat, there's an organ called the crop, a stretchable pouch that can hold a remarkable amount of seed, and she is filling it as fast as she can. Peck, step, methodical, unhurried but efficient, like someone who knows exactly how much time they have and intends to use all of it. What she's looking for, specifically, is a small seed she can swallow whole. Millet, cracked corn, sunflower hearts without the shell. She is not interested in the fine black thistle seed that finches love. She is not going to crack a whole sunflower seed the way a cardinal does. She picks, she swallows, she moves. 1 step, 1 peck. The motion has a rhythm to it that is almost meditative if you watch long enough. When her crop is full, you can sometimes see it, a slight visible swelling at the base of her throat, a small distortion in her silhouette. That tells you she is almost done here. The actual digestion will happen somewhere else, somewhere safer than the open ground where she's standing right now. Your yard is the dining room. The crop is the container she carries the meal out in. She came here to load up, and once she has what she needs, she lifts, and that liftoff, that sharp whistle her wings make as she goes, that sound is worth knowing. It isn't vocal. Its air moving through specially shaped feathers. Other mourning doves can hear it and read it from a distance you wouldn't expect. Now here is where the story changes, because if she came once, she will almost certainly come back. A mourning dove doesn't have a single feeding spot. She has a route. On any given day, she visits 4, sometimes 6 yards within a small radius, in a sequence she has worked out through repeated experiment. Your yard is one node in that route. Or it isn't. If it is, she'll be back tomorrow, often within 10 or 15 minutes of the same time. The rhythm tightens over days, over weeks. Each return trip is a small confirmation that nothing has changed, that the yard is still safe, still resourced, still worth the energy of coming back to. This is called site fidelity, and in mourning doves, it doesn't look like loyalty, it looks like habit. But underneath the habit is something more deliberate, a question she is always running in the background. Is this still the yard I decided it was? Every visit is her answer, and as long as the answer stays yes, she will keep coming. What breaks the pattern is almost never the food running out. It is almost always a change she didn't expect. A new structure in her sight line, a dog let out at a new hour, a feeder moved 3 feet to the left. Small disruptions that, to you, seem like nothing, and to her register as a yard that is no longer reading the same way it did. If she comes back with another bird, stop what you're doing. A pair arriving together, especially in spring, is not just feeding, they are evaluating the trees, the ledges, the protected corners. They are looking at your yard the way someone looks at a neighborhood before deciding to put down roots. You are not just a breakfast stop anymore. Think about what it took for her to choose your yard and not the one 3 doors down. It was rarely one big thing. It was usually 3 small ones. A clear ground area with cover within a quick flight, a consistent food source, not being aggressively controlled by larger birds, and a predictable pattern of disturbance, the dog going out at the same times, the back door opening at the same times. A mourning dove visit is a quiet endorsement, not loud like a blue jay, who arrives announcing himself and takes whatever he wants, not cautious like a crow, who treats every yard as a slightly suspicious resource. The dove's endorsement is softer, but it means more. She has decided your yard is safe enough, resourced enough, stable enough to be worth returning to. That is a reading taken by a creature whose survival depends on getting it right every single time. No app gave her that conclusion. She ran the numbers herself. If you want her to keep coming back, the most important thing you can do is nothing. Don't move the feeder. Don't introduce a new structure in the sightline she's been using. Don't start letting the dog out at a different hour. The reason she chose your yard is partly the consistency of it. Millet on the ground works better than anything elevated. Cracked corn, sunflower hearts without the shell, a flat open patch near cover. That is the setup she was hoping to find. Give her that, and leave everything else exactly as it is. People sometimes ask whether mourning doves recognize individual humans, whether the bird coming to your yard knows you specifically or just knows the yard. The honest answer is probably both. She has been watching the windows. She knows the silhouette that appears at the same time each morning. She knows whether that silhouette moves toward the door or stays still. Over enough visits, you become part of the pattern, part of what makes the yard predictable. You are not invisible to her. You are a variable she has already accounted for. Here is something to try tomorrow morning. Sometime in the first hour after sunrise, find a spot near a window. Don't look for her first. Listen. Listen for the sparrows leaving. That small, sudden, noisy exit that almost always comes before she arrives. Listen for the quiet that follows. And if you hear a low, drawn-out coo a few minutes later, know that what you're hearing is not random. She is telling another dove that she's safe here, that this yard passed. Watch what direction she came from when she landed. That's the wire she trusts. That's where she was watching you from, long before you ever saw her. She approved of your yard. The question is whether your yard will stay the kind of place she keeps choosing.